The Bengals squeezed in a pre-draft visit for a prolific college quarterback, but he's not just any kind of quarterback, and in this video, I'll explain what the plan could be for him if he joins the Bengals. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here, and by the time you're watching this, the Bengals will have likely hosted their final 30 visit leading up to the 2025 NFL Draft. Now, we have been keeping track of all of the reported pre-draft visits the Bengals have hosted over the past several weeks. Not all of them will be reported. We'll find out more about them after the draft happened. Maybe they'll draft someone that isn't on that list, but then we'll learn that they actually did take a 30 visit with the team. And for the most part, the players that have come into town play positions that the Bengals are indeed targeting. You have a lot of offensive linemen, a lot of defensive tackles, a handful of interior offensive linemen, a couple linebackers here and there. And there are a lot of positions the Bengals could end up drafting with one of their 6 picks this year, but quarterback is probably not going to be one of them. In all honesty, I think the Bengals' 2-deep quarterback room of Joe Burrow and Jake Browning is the envy of most of the NFL, and there really is no need for a third quarterback to enter that group. But the Bengals did use one of their 30 visits on a college quarterback. It just happens to be a quarterback who's probably not going to be a quarterback in the NFL. And of course, I'm referring to Montana State's own Tommy Mellott. Oh wait, you don't know who Tommy Mellott is. That's quite all right. I didn't know either. Tommy Mellott has played quarterback for Montana State for the last 4 years, and he has thrown the ball 686 times. He has rushed the ball 487 times. Why? Because he could. In 4 years playing against FCS competition, he ran for 43 touchdowns and over 3,600 rushing yards. When he kept the ball in his hands, good things typically happen. And that is the biggest reason why any NFL team would consider having him on their roster. Because it's tough enough for FCS level quarterbacks to make an impact in the NFL. It's even tougher when you're barely 6 foot and barely over 200 pounds. If you haven't guessed it by now, the NFL is considering Tommy Mellott to play wide receiver. According to NFL Media's Tom Pelissero, who originally reported the Bengals meeting with Mellott, Mellott actually worked out as a wide receiver and a punt returner at his own pro day. And guys, I would be shocked if the Bengals didn't view Mellott in the same way. Is it cool that he can play quarterback and throw? Yeah, for sure. But again, that's not going to be where he makes any sort of lasting impact on an NFL team. But the guy ran a 40-yard dash in under 4.4 seconds, and he's clearly really adept with the ball in his hands. There's something to work with there. And if you're talking about the Bengals bringing him in as an undrafted free agent, seeing what he can do in rookie minicamp, OTAs, and training camp, I think that's awesome. Mellott became the first Montana State player in program history to win the Walter Payton FCS Player of the Year award. And for him to go from that to trying to make an NFL team as a rookie at an entirely new position would be a phenomenal story to watch unfold. And the Bengals meeting with him before the draft just goes to show that not all these 30 visits are spent on players that they intend on using actual draft picks on. In fact, a lot of them are actually spent on players that they would like to target after the draft as priority free agents. Because college free agency is still free agency. A lot of these guys are going to have multiple offers from teams after the draft ends, so by meeting with them ahead of time, you give them a chance to get to know the team, get to know the city a little bit, so that when the draft actually ends, you're on the phone saying, hey, remember when we met with you a couple weeks ago? Would you like to join the Bengals? And all that happens very quickly, within the span of a handful of hours after the draft actually ends. And of course, Saturday is like the busiest day of the draft. It's 4 rounds of it. And the Bengals won't be the only team interested in Tommy Mellott. So it's a good thing that they got a chance to get to know him ahead of time and then see what happens. So yes, the Bengals did meet with a quarterback ahead of this year's NFL draft. But is he just a quarterback? Absolutely not. And that is all the more reason why you should get to know him.